Once upon a time, in the heart of a vibrant kingdom, lived a wise and kind king whose name was Adewale. Adewale's reign as king was marked by prosperity, unity, and the songs of joy that echoed through the land. Under his rule, the people of the kingdom thrived and prospered in all they did. Their harvests yielded good fruits, and the women were all blessed with healthy children. King Adewale was a man of immense compassion and wisdom. He would often wander through the streets of the village, engaging with his people and listening to their stories and concerns. His humility and genuine care made his people love him so much. However, lurking in the shadows was the king's wicked brother Akinwale, whose heart harbored nothing but greed and envy. Consumed by his desire for power, Akinwale came up with a plot to take over his brother's throne. His heart was filled with jealousy, and he believed that the throne should be his, not his brother's. As the days turned into weeks, the wicked brother's envy grew. He told lies to those who would listen, attempting to turn even the most loyal subjects against King Adewale. Akinwale began to gather a group of ruthless individuals who shared his desire for power, and together they came up with a wicked plan to assassinate the beloved king. One fateful night, when the full moon was in full bloom, the wicked plot to assassinate the king was being set in motion. Akinwale, the king's brother, as well as his conspirators, snuck into the king's chamber looking for the king. Inside the king's chamber, King Adewale was fast asleep, unaware of his brother's wicked plan. His brother and his accomplices gained access to the king's chamber. He stood at the entrance of the chamber, wielding a dagger in his hand. Akinwale allowed his envy and ruthless ambition to blind him of the love that his brother had for him. As he raised the dagger, ready to plunge it into the heart of the king, a sudden flash of light filled the room. The candles lining the chamber burst into flames, illuminating the entire king's chamber. The king awoke just in time to see his brother dagger in hand. Their eyes locked, and for a brief moment, the wicked brother hesitated. But it was a moment too long. With a swift and powerful motion, Akinwale plunged the knife into the heart of his brother. The guards rushed in and saw Akinwale and his conspirators scampering for safety. Although his evil plot had been exposed, he was the late king's only brother and a likely successor to the throne. Word of the king's assassination spread throughout the kingdom, and a sense of unease settled upon the people. They mourned the loss of their king and dreaded the reign of Akinwale, the evil brother of the king, who betrayed and killed his own brother, their late king. Akinwale had bribed everyone in the late king's cabinet to facilitate easy transfer of authority to him. However, what he did not foresee happened as the crown of authority rejected Akinwale's head. This was unusual, as it only meant that the king had a blood heir and that the heir was definitely not Akinwale. Did the king have a child? Everyone began to murmur as they whispered, but no one knew if the king even had a child. Unknown to all, King Adewale had a secret that he had guarded closely throughout his reign. Many years before, when he was still a young prince, he had fallen in love with a woman from a distant village. Their love had been a beautiful and forbidden secret, and their union had remained hidden from all. From this secret love, a child had been born, a precious daughter who had the eyes of her father and the spirit of her mother. The prince and his beloved had kept her existence hidden, for they knew that if the kingdom discovered their child, she would be in grave danger. The king's daughter grew up in the outskirts of the village, living a simple and unassuming life, and knew not the identity of her royal father, the late king. One day, an informer who was a bitter soul seeking favor from Akinwale revealed the existence of the king's daughter, sparking a fire of greed in Akinwale's heart. Akinwale, now consumed by a new plot, hatched a scheme to find and eliminate the hidden princess. His desire for power knew no bounds, and he believed that with the princess gone, he would secure his place on the throne. But he had no knowledge of where the princess was, and he had no inkling that she was much closer than he could have ever imagined. The hidden princess, now a young woman of grace and beauty, had grown under the watchful eyes of her grandfather, who lived by the riverside in a faraway village. The princess' mother died a few years ago, leaving the princess in the care of her old and wise grandfather. This wise man had known of the princess' identity since her birth, and he had sworn to protect her with his life. The old man was once a loyal advisor to King Adewale when he was much younger, and had watched the kingdom flourish under King Adewale's rule. When he learnt of the king's evil brother's plot to take the throne, he took it upon himself to ensure the safety of his granddaughter, who was the rightful heir to the throne of the late King Adewale. In their secluded hut, the princess had been raised with love and care. Her grandfather had imparted to her the wisdom of the land, the ways of the kingdom, and the knowledge of her true heritage. He taught her the arts of healing and survival, and he instilled in her a deep sense of responsibility to the people she would one day rule. As the evil brother's search for the hidden princess intensified, the old man knew that the time had come for his granddaughter to embrace her destiny. With a heavy heart, he revealed the truth to her that she was the daughter of the late King Adewale and the true heir to the throne. The princess, her eyes filled with determination, understood that it was her duty to protect her people and avenge her father's death. With her grandfather's guidance, the princess traveled back to her father's village, disguised as a commoner, to navigate the kingdom and gather information about the whereabouts of her evil uncle. Her grandfather had taught her the art of blending in, and she moved through the kingdom unnoticed, disguised as a humble servant. This was a very dangerous journey, as Akinwale's agents were everywhere looking for her. As she moved through the kingdom, the princess witnessed the suffering of her people. Akinwale's reign of terror had brought about corruption and injustice. The evil brother had imposed heavy taxes, sowing poverty and despair among the citizens. The kingdom's once vibrant streets had grown quiet, and the songs of joy had turned into hushed whispers of resistance. The princess was determined to restore her father's legacy of kindness, justice, and prosperity. She began to work in secret, aiding those in need, healing the sick, and rallying the hearts of her fellow citizens. She knew that the time would come when she must reveal her true identity and challenge her uncle's oppressive rule. Meanwhile, the evil brother's search for the hidden princess continued. Akinwale's agents moved around the kingdom, and they were relentless in their pursuit. He had promised rewards and power to those who could locate and deliver the princess to him. Akinwale's desperation was evident in his actions. The kingdom's once calm and quiet streets now echoed with fear, and the people lived in constant dread. But as the princess moved among them, her acts of kindness and bravery restored hope to the oppressed. One day, as she tended to the needs of the people, the princess overheard a group of Akinwale's agents discussing a secret meeting. They were to meet at a hidden location to discuss their progress in finding her. With this information, the princess knew that her time had come to confront her evil uncle and bring him to justice. She returned to her grandfather with a heart full of determination and a plan to unmask Adewale's wickedness. Her grandfather listened carefully, his wise eyes gleaming with pride for the brave young woman he had watched grow into a true leader. Together, they came up with a strategy to expose the evil brother's corruption and tyranny. They would gather evidence of his evil deeds and bring it before the people, rallying them to demand justice. The princess, with her grandfather's guidance, secretly contacted those who had suffered under Akinwale's oppressive rule. They shared their stories of injustice, of families torn apart by heavy taxes, and of lives ruined by corruption. The princess, now known to the people as a symbol of hope, listened to their grievances and documented their suffering. As the evidence mounted, the princess and her grandfather knew it was time to reveal her true identity to the people. They called for a meeting in the kingdom, inviting all those who had suffered under Akinwale's rule. The day of the meeting arrived, and a crowd gathered, unaware of the identity of the young woman who had become their beacon of hope. Her grandfather stood beside her as she stepped forward, removing her humble disguise to reveal her true self, the daughter of the beloved King Adewale. A hushed silence fell over the gathering of the people as they gazed upon the princess, realizing that she was the rightful heir to the throne. With conviction and eloquence, the princess addressed the crowd, sharing the evidence of her uncle's evil plot to assassinate her father and his oppressive rule. The people, moved by the princess' words and the injustice they had suffered, rose as one in support of her cause. They vowed to end the reign of the treacherous brother and restore the rightful monarch to the throne. The news of the assembly and the revelation of the hidden princess spread like wildfire throughout the kingdom. Those who had once been loyal to Akinwale now turned against him, their loyalty to the true bloodline rekindled. Akinwale, sensing the growth of resistance, sought to use force to dispel the uprising. He gathered his loyal followers and launched an attack, hoping to capture the princess. But the people, now united under the princess's voice, could not be defeated. They fought valiantly, defending their rightful ruler. In the midst of the fierce battle, the princess faced her evil uncle. Their eyes locked, and for a moment she saw a glimmer of regret in his gaze, a realization of the depths to which his envy had led him. But it was too late for redemption. The battle raged on, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, the princess emerged victorious. Akinwale, defeated and disgraced, was captured and brought before the people to face judgment for his crimes. The people of the kingdom, fair-minded and just, decided to spare his life, but banished him from the kingdom forever. With the evil brother's exile, the kingdom was finally free from his oppressive reign. The people rejoiced, and a grand ceremony was held to crown the hidden princess as the rightful queen. The songs of joy, once silenced, resounded through the kingdom once more, and the streets filled with vibrant celebrations. As Queen Adewale, the rightful ruler, took her place on the throne, she fulfilled her promise to her father to restore the kingdom to its former glory. With her grandfather by her side as a trusted advisor, she ruled with wisdom and compassion, ensuring that kindness, justice, and prosperity were once again the guiding principles of her realm. The end. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in our next story. Till next time, ciao.